Yes, this is Archangel Uriel with you today. Jules, how are you?
I am very well, thank you, Uriel.
May I ask if the camera on this side is working correctly?
Yes, it is. I can
All
see
right.
the channel.
Okay. Now, give me your questions, your statements. Tell me something. How have you been?
Well, I have been well, but I have been noticing periods of very negative thoughts that are like old patterns of negative thoughts, and I'm practicing realizing that they are not me, but they're still a part of me, and I'm wondering how to move them away or release them.
Would it help you to know that the energy that triggers these thoughts come from outside what you call negative forces, negative spirits, entities, even demons? They play with the beliefs, with the traumas that have yet to be processed on your part. And they look for opportunities to trigger these, to make you feel weak, to make you feel emotional, sad. And when you do, they feed on this energy.
Oh, well, that's very
If you,
helpful.
yes, if you're aware that they do this, then maybe you'll feel a bit more confident and even more aware that this is completely not to you, not up to you, not from you. They trigger these to test you, especially if you're on the spiritual path as you are. They love to do this, and if they fail, if you ignore these thoughts, if you see them for what they are, if you answer them, tell them, this is not true, I will not do that, then they send somebody higher up in their hierarchy, a general, to provoke you further. Yes, and this happens all the way on your spiritual journey. We even might say a following quote or citation: new levels, new devils.
Aha.
Yes. So be aware of this. Be aware that there are these entities. There's no need to judge them. They are part of creation as well. But
Mm,
a lot of them are going through what I shall call the phenomena of evil.
okay. And is there a way? I love that, going through the phenomena of evil. What a great quote.
Yes, because evil doesn't truly, ontologically exist. It only exists as an illusion, as an, let's say, darkness exists because there's absence of light. Therefore, evil exists because there's absence of good in that being. Yes.
Mm, okay. And so there's no way to avoid them. One just has to learn how to manage them.
Yes, yes. The better you are at ignoring them, at standing your ground, at even not fighting back, but responding with confidence, with authority. If you could speak right from your heart or solar plexus to them and say, enough, I will not listen to this anymore. Your attempts at provoking me are not successful. You can improvise these as you wish. What's important is how you speak them, from what place you say them, and that you don't react to their provocations. If you start leaking emotion, such as fear, anxiety, shame, that's when they start to feed on it. That's when they feel successful.
Mm,
Yes. And nothing they say is true, no matter how. much of a personal attack they make, and they are really good at looking through your memory, digging up random things, and making you feel bad about them. Don't allow this. Remember who you are. You are not this. You are not who you were 10 years ago, not even one day ago. You are who you decide to be in the next moment.
Oh yeah, that's exactly how it is. I even came up with a word, a name for it. I was calling it regret salad, where these random things from any point in my life would just pop into my head, random mistakes I've made or things I could have done differently or ways that I didn't make the best choice. And just maybe they're 20
Yes.
years old, 5 years old, 16 years old. They just pop into my head randomly. It's crazy, but that's just great to know why.
Does this happen to you late at night sometimes?
No. Um, it
When
mainly
does it
happens
happen?
it mainly happens in the mornings when I'm driving somewhere, driving to work or driving to have a swim, or it happens then.
Yes. Maybe to discourage you from the upcoming day and all the things you
Yeah.
have planned. Yes. Now remember, these two are these entities. They do this. Not for one moment think this is your subconscious, your heart, your higher self sending you these. They would never do that. These beings trigger this, they shove it up your face to make you feel less powerful than you want to feel. And then you cannot influence with your light your surroundings, your friends, your people, yourself. So completely ignore these.
Okay, thank you. Because I've made an appointment to start seeing a psychiatrist to understand why it's happening. But you've answered for me. Thank you.
Yes, the channel has a type of link to send you after this meeting and remind them of it about a psychiatrist specializing in these things.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, because my life is going well, much better than it has for a long time. And then I just have these random days of all of those thoughts and then feeling depressed and then feeling okay, but that's very helpful.
Yes.
Um, okay. And okay, I've got a couple of questions. They sort of jump around, but are you in the mood for jump around questions?
Yes, of course.
I just I wanted to know what, because my long term, the context is my long term plan is to go to live in Italy. Make that my permanent home.
Wonderful.
But I
Yes.
wanted to know first, what in the next, I don't know, 30 years, what is the future for America in broad terms? And is there a period where I have a future there in the United
In
States?
America,
Yep.
remember that this depends on the timeline you're on. I will give you the future of this place depending on your current energy state and where you are heading right now. The United States of America will experience further political trouble, further decline in what I may call culture.
Mm.
So my suggestion for you is not to go there. If spiritual advancement is what you want, you can visit, you can stay there for 6 months, a year, but I wouldn't suggest making it your primary
Mm-hmm.
home. Italy sounds much better for you. if I may comment on my prediction and some others, what we see happening in about 10 years is a kind of unification in the continent, what you call Africa. Here, something beautiful will happen. Certain states will unite, work together, and become quite powerful. Then other countries will learn from this. But before they do, a certain type of collapse, it doesn't have to be necessarily chaotic and violent, must happen in their governments.
Mm.
Yes. Europe shall be quite influenced by this in a, let's say, primary way. It will happen most there, most quickly. And yes, we see, let's say, energetic openings for you in Italy.
Mm. That's wonderful news. I do you know why the resonance with Italy is so strong in me?
Several past lives, one of them, you were quite, let's say, famous, quite influential. But I'm sorry to say, I cannot tell you your name and your function, not because I might not know it, because your guides, your higher self, wanted to be a surprise. Yes, it wouldn't be as fun as if you just heard it on a channeling.
Yep.
They want you to feel blissful. They want you to find out about it when you're there, right? It would be much better.
Thank you, guides. That makes sense.
Yes.
They're so good. My guides.
Yes, they want you to feel good. And remember, we talked earlier about these negative entities. They infiltrate. They come without question. They come uninvited. The higher beings, the archangels, come only when you call them. They can come
Ah.
if you don't, but they appreciate being called. So in these moments, in these regret salads, as you have said, call upon a guide, an archangel, a counterpart.
Mm.
They will appreciate that much more, and they will have much more energy to work with when you invite them. Yes. This is the positive polarity and how it likes to function.
Okay. Right. I remember that I'm not alone in that moment because I feel like I'm alone with my thoughts, but that's the illusion.
Yes, they make you feel alone. So much so that you forget that you even have guides, that you even
Yes.
have the right. You even
Yes.
forget that you have the option of calling an archangel or source or God.
Yeah. That's so yeah, that's so accurate.
Yes.
So thank you for that. That's really, really, really helpful. Um, okay, that's two questions answered. And I thank you for what you said about America. I was thinking I would live there. I think I missed the chance to live in America for 5 years. I should have done it when I was younger, and now things are different, and the energy is not right for a long period of time. It's a holiday
Yes,
destination only.
I think so too. If you go further back in the as early as 1950s through almost the 90s, before what you call 9/11,
Mm-hmm.
the energies were better for
Yes.
setting up a home, a residence, This doesn't mean it's not possible now. It's just that we see the energy of what you call Italy much more convenient for you.
Yeah. And on that topic of countries and places, what do you know? Are you able to tell me the reason why my higher self decided that I should be born in Australia?
Yes, we see several reasons. The first is having to do more with your family, and that they have chosen to be in Australia,
Yep.
and you have chosen to be with them. The second, more esoteric answer you might enjoy is the fact that Australia represents the first energy center of the planet Earth.
Oh.
This was attractive to you. You wanted to be here in Australia to experience that, to work on that, to become more grounded in these frequencies, to incorporate them into your etheric and astral bodies after having several incarnations in more, let's say, cerebral places.
Mm.
This time you have spent in Australia will help you when you go to Italy. You will have that connection to earth, to groundedness that will assist you in your workings there.
That makes a lot of sense.
And you will bring this groundedness after this life experience. You will work on it further, but you will have this beautiful gift that you have picked up while being in Australia.
I think I'm going to pick up more of that gift with the work I'm about to do with the cultural fire burners.
Yes. Be careful with the energy of fire. You naturally have this in you. You're naturally adept at working with fire. After these rituals, these ceremonies, be sure to balance out. Go for a swim, go into the water, take a glass jar or a bowl, a copper bowl, and meditate on this water. Ask your guides to fill it with power, with the energy of fluidity, of emotion. You can even put it outside so it can face the moon if the moon cycle is appropriate, and drink this after the fire ceremony. Wash your body with it, your face and hair, put it on top of your head, wash your feet, so these energies can balance. Otherwise, you will heat up and explode.
Wow. So I have a lot of fire in me already, you're saying?
Yes, naturally.
Mm. Will the indigenous people perceive that when they meet me?
Yes, yes,
They are very sensitive.
yes, they are. And especially, they are adept at the elements. They have mastered them. Maybe a little less when it comes to the air element, but they have certainly mastered the elements of earth, water, and fire. You can bring in to the ceremony those higher energies of the higher elements, such as ether and air, and let them learn from them how to balance your water, air, excuse me, water, earth, and fire elements. So it will work kind of like a conversation between their first three energy centers and your upper half, kind of like an infinity sign. This is a good visualization you can do while it happens. Try to feel it. Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's really interesting. That's probably another reason to be here as well.
Yes.
Okay. Next question was, I know I understand that these questions are not always straightforward because they do depend on timelines, and I know there are my understanding is that there are an infinite number of timelines, but I'm imagining from your point of view, it looks as, what I see is, if I've ever put myself as you looking back at me, and then let's say there are timelines coming out of me that I could follow, that if you imagine they're like strands of wool, they're sort of clustered together in groups. So there's a broad theme, uh, Jules decides to become a vet, which I wouldn't, but that's the theme. And then it might be, a vet for cows or a vet in this country, but the timelines are in more or less in clusters. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is correct. And there are things you have decided to experience before your incarnation that will happen for sure. So you have decided to stay on certain timelines no matter what happens because you wanted to experience that,
Right.
such as spiritual progress or moving abroad at this time of your life. You have chosen this to happen. Certainly, some other things you have let happen by chance, although that doesn't exist, let's say more spontaneously to decide during your life which timeline to come about when it comes to relationships. Yes, so these work in clusters. Some are decided on more firmly and some are left to chance. You decide on this before your incarnation. So don't worry too much about which timeline you're on. If you feel good, the more you feel blissed out, the better timeline you're on.
Okay, that's a good mark. That's another good quote.
Pay much more attention to how you feel than what timeline you're on. The universe, this God's reality, will shift you to the appropriate timeline anyway, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
What's important is that you are kind, loving to yourself, that you see and experience reverence for your life experience and others in their life experience. Cultivating these attributes of compassion, respect, love shall set you on the highest possible timeline. If you think too much about these timelines, if you try to understand them, you will get confused for sure.
Yep.
So stay in your heart. Try to develop these attributes I have just told you, and through that, love and emotional resonance and quality, the understanding of these timelines on a more mental, cerebral level shall just be downloaded into you. And one day you'll just understand it like that because you will be opened enough to receive this information.
Okay. Yeah. You're right. To try and work it out like a jigsaw puzzle is too complicated. You just go crazy. 100 million pieces. It's
Yes. This is like trying to understand concepts of infinity, of eternity, of paradox. It's very hard to mentally ponder about these subjects and topics. It
yeah.
will drive you even crazy. However, if you try to feel what infinity is, that's much more liberating,
Mm.
much more rich in your experience. If you learn to feel it, if you learn to see beauty in it, and from this beauty that you perceive shall be born love for infinity, for eternity, then understanding comes. From love comes understanding. Let me give you an example. A man loves to play piano. He plays it 6 hours a day. He just can't get enough of it. What will happen? What will be born out of this love is understanding of the instrument. And why does he get an understanding of this instrument? It's because he loved it so much. This
Mm.
is the same way it functions in reality. If you love life, if you love reality, if you love God so much, then understanding will be born out of that.
Yeah, okay. Love first, understanding follows. Oh, it's the opposite of how I used to live.
Yes, it's the opposite of how many scientists and especially philosophers on your earth have functioned. A lot of them have suffered a lot because they have first tried to understand things and not love them. Yes, this is why art and artists
Yeah.
almost channel these ideas of love, infinity, these grand ideas into sounds, into pictures, because they love doing what they do. They love these concepts. It almost seems like they understand them at times,
Yep.
spontaneously, yeah, showing that through a painting or through something they say.
Mm. Yeah, I think that sometimes when I'm listening to music and just thinking about the person who was writing that complexity in it's astonishing. It's, if you listen to a a symphony, with 60 instruments, to be writing 60 instruments at every point in time, and everything you're writing is coherent as a whole, it's incredible. And I've just been
Yes,
thinking, they are the brightest people on the planet,
yes.
composers.
It touches a part of you that is capable of perceiving these things and loving them. It's like a portal, this
Mm.
art. One is at loss of words when it comes to this. All you can do is perceive this beauty
Yes.
and witness the love that comes. This is a certain hierarchy where from beauty comes love, and from love comes understanding. There is a little stop between love and understanding where you feel a lot of bliss. Yes.
Mm. Well, beauty has always been important to me, but I'm only out now able to sort of appreciate the beauty of this music. Before I was closed to it, but now I'm
Yes.
opening up to it as I begin to play more and listen differently. And
Yes. Try to see what these vibrations and frequencies of the music you play or the music you listen to does to your energy centers. Try to be aware of your spine and these centers while listening. You might perceive interesting things happening.
oh, okay, okay,
It's almost as if the vibrations are passing through these centers and leaving beautiful debris of light onto them.
wow. Okay. Oh, I don't know which direction to go in next with the question. I've got a bit more time.
Yes, take your time.
How the channel is very energetic today too. I think the morning is good for him.
Yes. Yes, he likes the morning.
I can feel it. This is just I don't. This doesn't have to be a big question, but how long roughly until free energy is available? Let's say widely, but not necessarily in the mainstream. So,
Do you mean free electricity?
yes.
In about 30 to 50 years, you will, as I perceive it, experience free energy in a sort of bubble reality type of way where certain communities will be allowed to have their own source of electricity that they have engineered, let's say a village, a community. Globally speaking, and remember, based on the current energies you and the channel are on,
Yep.
it will be about almost 200 years
Whoa.
before
Wow.
before the whole of Earth shall have this free energy.
Oh, okay. That's a lot longer than I thought. And the same for the bubble reality as well. I thought the bubble reality might be in about 15 years, but okay.
Well, you already have some people amplifying their houses with their own source of energy, but they are in hiding, let's say.
Yeah.
This is not allowed by your governments, or it's heavily taxed to the point where it would be easier to just pay a
Yeah.
bill for electricity. Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, I thought I was hoping to be in a bubble reality of that much earlier, but I don't want to ask too many questions about the future because I'm thinking I can wait 50 years, but I'll be quite old, but I'll have some sort of rejuvenation process by then, I hope.
Yes, you will. And remember, if you pay attention to how you feel, how loving and satisfied, how content you are, you can move into a timeline in 2 weeks where you have free energy.
Wow. Okay. Okay, that's good.
If that is what excites you, your soul, what's important is that you find ways that are unconditional, infinite, to draw upon for positive feeling.
Yeah. I
This
mean,
is your vertical connection to source, where you draw upon these energies. The horizontal line is if, let's say, you got to experience free energy, how happy that would make you. You draw upon the horizontal line of your experience. But our suggestion is from the vertical line, from the source through your head, and it continues down through your feet into the earth. We always suggest the most important energy centers to work on for humans is the first one and its relationship to your Mother Earth and the heart energy center. These two combined will activate all others and make you very happy.
so crown and heart.
No, first energy center
Oh, the base.
and the base. Yes, this is what we suggest. But for you, what I've been talking about before that, drawing upon this source, God energy, yes, it comes through the crown, but where it stabilizes, where it finds its home and residence, like you in Italy, is the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, and maybe things will change, but at the moment I see the free energy as an enabling tool for people to be able to be living the way they need to live in the future, in harmony with each other and in harmony with Mother Earth. But that's just where I am now. That might change in the future. I might say, okay, we can do that using oil. It's still possible.
Yes, yes.
But not as exciting. Okay. I wanted to ask about, I've been started on this telepathy course and remote viewing. I feel like I have the abilities there that can be trained and honed, or what's the word, improved.
Yes.
What would be the best use of those?
The abilities of telepathy and remote viewing, you mean? How to
Yeah.
use them? How to... Yes. Our suggestion is always to use this to be of service
Yeah.
to your fellow humans somehow. This shall quickly get back to you and improve your emotional state, your spiritual state. You can use this remote viewing and telepathy to do the meditations that your Buddhists call metta. This is where you send energy of loving kindness to people you love, to people you have met, that you feel, say, neutral about. Then you send this loving energy to people that have hurt you, maybe, that you find it hard to forgive. And the way telepathy and remote viewing works with this is that you will be able to perceive these people much better in your mind's eye while you send them this loving energy, the image of them happy, satisfied, and the image of them receiving your energy in real time shall be very satisfactory for you and them. You shall then realize how big and grand your power is to help other people, and this shall bring great contentment to you.
Mm.
You can even heal people. You can perceive through this remote viewing certain energy clouds that will appear dark and murky, and you can get rid of them. However, don't do too much healing if or unless the person asks for it. You're free to send as much support and reverence for their life experience as you wish, but when it comes to healing and working on their energy system and body, wait for them to ask you for it.
Okay.
Just as we like to be invited to protect and not interfere with the free will of man.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's a good one to remember. All right. I'll keep working on it. And I do like the idea of being able to, if not heal people, but just send them loving energy. And I've hurt lots of people. I mean, the more I develop spiritually, the more I see that I have caused a lot of people a lot of pain.
Yes.
I don't know whether that was my plan.
Remember, giving this energy is proof of having it. The more you give it to these people in your meditations, the more you shall realize how big your heart is. It shall be then easy to forgive whom you have hurt. Yes.
Yeah, because I've hurt lots of people. Sad.
Don't worry about it. Please don't dwell too much on this. This ties in to how this channeling began
Yes,
with
I
those
hear you.
entities I talked about. Yes. This
Okay.
is a waste of time, you pondering about how you have hurt people.
Okay.
Send them this loving energy, imagine them happy, and forgive yourself. And forgiving yourself is just a simple decision to do it. There's not much to ponder, understand, think about in this forgiveness. You just decide in a second, I am going to forgive myself because this weight, this baggage of guilt I carry doesn't serve anyone.
Yeah, okay, that's really good. Wow. Um, I'm finding these sessions incredibly useful and helpful.
Yes, I'm happy that you do.
Yeah, I really, really, really do. And we're nearly out of time. I'm just trying to think. Oh, yeah. I was chatting to someone, a good friend who's an astrologer and quite a connected person herself. Her name's Kerry. I was chatting to my friend and I was saying, "Oh, look, I have blocks around receiving money and manifesting abundance, and people have given me ideas in the future that could, in the past, that could have made a lot of money, and I've always ignored them. And now someone else is giving me ideas to make money, which I can then spend to amplify my own path and amplify my own effect." And she said, "Oh, don't worry about making money. You're just meant to make money from doing what it is that you do, not through other ways." And I just wondered if, wasn't sure if that was her innocently projecting her own thinking, or because I feel like I should have a lot of money at my disposal in order to do things that I think are worthwhile and interesting and helpful and groundbreaking. But when I look back on my life, there are key points in time where those opportunities manifested and I didn't take them a number of times. So I'm wondering if this, what my friend Damien Jasper has been telling me about the new distributed currency coin thing, is something that I should be putting energy and concentrating on and using to give myself a head start, or should I?
First of all, what your friend said was a sort of innocent projection.
Yeah.
Second of all, you deserve much more money than you have right now. Be sure about that. Please, there are people on your earth with tremendous amounts of money from other people's suffering. You would never do this, and
No.
yet don't have this money. So you deserve, as your friend who is an astrologer, you deserve much more money. What I will suggest, because I cannot make decisions for you,
No.
listen to your heart if this business with the coin is the right for you. I would encourage you to do it. Be careful, have discernment, see if you love to do it so you can gain, as I said, understanding of it, research it. There is opportunity for you there. What's more important is when you send in the practice I have described in the previous question, the love and kindness, the energy to other people, add that they may prosper, that they may get rich too. When you do this, see if you experience any blocks when wishing for other people to experience prosperity and abundance when it comes to finances.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine them with great success when it comes to money. And remember, most importantly, this shall bring you the awareness of how big you are, how big your heart is. What I want you to get out of this is that any prosperity, any abundance comes from your spiritual prosperity and abundance. How big you perceive yourself to be in terms of your blissful love that you give out to the earth, to your fellow humans, to your country, to your neighborhood, when you perceive yourself as this big, this powerful, then financial prosperity shall come to you easily.
That might have been part of what my friend was trying to say. It might be similar to what my friend was trying to say.
Yes, yes. This was her intention, but she might not have verbalized it as clearly and as precisely. Yes.
Okay, so that's one way that's one strand of it, and the other strand of it is, if I did decide to do some investing, like we were saying earlier on, love it first, love the process of being engaged with that, love learning about it, love what it might do. Yeah,
because if you do that, you're already gaining, you're already on the path, the timeline where you are receiving. You are already receiving from your experiment with this investing through the enjoyment and love you get from it. So you're already in the place where you're getting this excitement, getting this love, and treading on this path leads to this materializing in the physical realm as money. Yes.
Okay, because one of the reasons I want to have a lot of money is so that other people with a lot of money will listen to me, because they don't listen to people who don't have money. But if you have a lot of money and you say this is a good idea, then they will listen to you. Yes. About how to spend their money, which is what I want to ultimately do.
Yes.
I want people who
yes, you're quite correct in this way of thinking. Yes.
Because if you have as much money as I do, and you say to someone with $1 billion, look, just put $50 million here, they'll laugh in your face. If you have $100 million and you say, look, I've put $50 million here and you should too, then they will.
Yes.
That's
very true. And we need these type of people like you who want to get to the top and stay grounded, because a lot of people, when they receive these amounts of money, they become gluttonous, lustful. The power corrupts them, and the sense pleasures overtake. It's a very big temptation to have this sort of money and stay on your path of improving Earth, making it a better place for your fellow human beings. Because when you rise up so much in your financial abundance, you start living in this bubble reality where you don't longer perceive the troubles of mankind in the same way.
Yes, they become quite disconnected, and then everybody around them is also disconnected. And so, So do you think when I do have a lot of money, I'm going to be able to remain grounded? I've already been through my lustful phase. There's no money can't.
Yes. This is why we encourage you. You are one of them. You are one of these people that want to do this and that are capable of remaining, even if you get swayed a bit on your way to that top, you'll find your way for sure.
Okay, that reassurance helps me, because I think there's a part of me, one of the parts of me that holds me back with finances and money and concentrating on money and wanting money, I think is worried about that, is over worried about that I'll just become this crazy hedonist, like a Roman emperor. But I don't.
Yes, treat this part of you with compassion, with actually actively listen to him. You can tell him in your active imagination, all right, what do you have to say to me? What do you think I will do if we receive this money? And hear his point of view. Try to have a discussion a conversation with him, a civilized conversation. And this way, this part of you shall be then quieted down because he has been heard, he has been validated. He might stick his head out again and ask you something, but he will be much more in peace, much more integrated with your main personality structure.
Okay.
If you ignore him, he might become more adamant about being heard. Now, this is where your remote viewing and telepathic abilities come into play, because, as I said in the first question, you have these entities outside of you wanting to trigger you to feel bad. These ones, it's best to ignore or to say something rather blunt to them. But when it comes to a part of you, a part of Jules, it doesn't work as well to ignore or to shun him off. What you need to is get in deeper contact with him, talk to him, integrate him. He must become your friend, your greedy friend that you love still, something like this. Yes.
Yep.
That you want to hang out with. Yes.
Okay. Yep. The more he is ignored, the louder he becomes, the more power he has to shut things down.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Then I must have, maybe I had a past life experience where I did succumb to money.
Almost all people choose one or several occasions like this.
And mine has left an impression somewhere in my superconscious.
At this time on Earth, where financial security is very important, most people's past incarnation of which had abundance is acting up, yelling, screaming, why aren't you doing anything about this? Why aren't we in a mansion? Where's your car? This is quite normal at this time.
Because the other thing I need to say to that voice is, and that I need to trust is, even when I do have a lot of money, it won't stop me connecting with people the way I can connect with them now. Like the way I connect with the truck drivers at work and the people who wash the trucks, who are in the hierarchy, the lowest people. I find them, they're the easiest people to connect with, even though I'm earning much more money than them and my job is very different.
Yes, that is very important. People that get very rich, as I said, go into that bubble reality and only talk to people with equal or a bit less or more money than they do. They are in societies, in fraternities with these people. They hang out, they talk about these things. They never get into contact with the average man, the working class. And then these people from the working class lose any sort of energetic connection and compassion for the rich people and the other way around. And that's where you become, that's where this balance comes from on earth. If these people stayed friends, if they were more in contact, this distribution of wealth would be much more balanced.
Okay.
Of course, what separates the rich man from the working class man are those sense pleasures I've talked about that cause greed, lust, yes, glutton.
Okay, so the more I'm grounded, the more I'll be able to allow myself to want and accumulate more money. And this is a good time. I mean, lots of times have been a good time to make money, but now is a good time to make a lot of money because you can make money out of, so 120 years ago, you could make a lot of money out of the railroads, but there are a lot of people working very hard for not very much money building the railroads. Now you can make money out of companies that people are speculating on, or companies that are generating artificial intelligence, and there's not necessarily suffering underneath that. It's
Yes,
psychology and it's
precisely.
gambling. So that's what I need to say to myself and remind myself when I'm feeling guilty about and scared around wanting to make money. I need to create that identity that says, no, this is part of your path, and it's not going to turn me into someone sitting on a yacht taking, being
Yes,
lustful and greedy. I'm not, I love being in beautiful places. I always have, but it's not important to me that I own it. It's not important to me that I
yes,
feel better than
precisely.
somebody else with it. Okay.
Yes, the groundedness and the open-heartedness is what will guide you through these experiences unscarred.
Because I did make good decisions about money once before, and then I lost faith in myself. Um, okay. That's been really, 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 really helpful. And last question, does my new surname, Laurent, or Laurent, as people like to say, is that one that can hold the energy of this grounded person who's also able to have a lot of power through having money?
Yes, for sure. Very vibrationally succinct. What is the word? Yes.
Succinct.
Yes, very matching to what you want to become.
Mm-hmm.
I see that surname written on a yacht already.
Cool. I love sailing.
Yes,
Um, yeah, that's great. Okay, I'm going to draw a little yacht.
yes, wonderful.
I will take the channel out. The channel in his, when he has a new girlfriend, they can come.
Yes.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Just remember who you are. You are that eternal, infinite, loving presence that's having fun, that's loving itself. God is like a child rather than like an old man. He is
Mm,
like a child looking at a butterfly for the first time. Yes.
that's beautiful.
And so I leave you in peace and encourage you to remember this, that you are this, that you are forever this. And no matter what happens, no matter how much pain you experience, you will find out who you are again and again. And every time it shall be more blissful, more loving. Yes. Goodbye,
Goodbye.
Jules.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, man.
Hey, you're back.
That was good. I loved it.